Bonsoir, mon chers. Happy new moon in Aquarius. I have to be honest, I haven't ordered a date book or a calendar for the year yet. Like, I feel like I'm just hanging out there with my dick in the wind. Like, I'm having to just look up these like lunation dates and try to like stay on top of it, and I'm getting like lost in time. So it's very out of sorts. I need to order a date book. I will say this. Danielle Laporte had the perfect day planner, and I used it for years, and then she discontinued making them. She wanted to do some more creative things that didn't involve like making products, you know, for the sake of sustainability, which I support. But I'm like, can you just give me the specs so I can have my own made? Because it was like the perfect combination of a day planner and a journal, and it had pages for each day, not just like a bunch of days on like, you know, squeezed into pages. It was the best. But so I've been looking to, you know, get all that ordered for the year, and I just hadn't, and I kind of had a feeling that I just needed to give myself some like a gap of time, like mind the gap, the void in between. I needed to be in that void without the calendar. So I've been a void lunar uncertainty zone. Little dad joke there for you. Yeah, so some people were considering this the third lunation of January, because I think that depending on what time zone you're in, the new moon happened late last night, but we're still in that energy of it today. But then it's also considered the new moon of February because it's beginning the moon cycle for February. So yeah, all of that can be a little confusing. But because it's the third lunation and the second new moon in January, it's called the black moon. So I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, so our new moon is in Aquarius, and we're really just launching like rockets out the gate. This new fresh energy, and Aquarius supporting that with its like big picture, like willing to be the rebel and like do the crazy thing, willing to shake things up and turn it all upside down on its head. So, you know, if you've been doing this work recently about making these like changes in your life, because you know we're starting this like kind of radical like fresh start, new cycle, up level, like we're writing our own story now, we're all awake, like we know what we want when we are getting it. And so this is really amazing that the new moon is falling right after Venus goes direct, and you know Mercury going direct is happening this week. So it's like all of this energy has let us go back, reassess, reflect. I feel like this is all we've been doing for like months. And I think that like cyclically we go in these phases where it feels like, oh my God, if I get that message again, I'm gonna like throw up, and like my head's gonna spin around, and I'm gonna like have like smoke and steam coming out of my ears. But yes, so I think we're always going to be cyclically going back and reflecting, but I think some of the major reflection is it's like coming, it's all coming out, and it's coming out now in a way that we can do something with it so that we can not be so triggered and reactive. That's the idea. We want to get to a point in life where like it's never going to be easy, smooth sailing forever. Like things are going to come up, people are going to trigger us. But when we can become the cause of our life instead of the effect of it, meaning things can happen and it just doesn't affect us so much anymore. You know, that person that gets under your skin, it just doesn't, you just accept them for who they are, and you don't take it personally, and it just doesn't activate you. You're not activated. People don't have the power over you. People don't have the power over your feelings anymore. You have self-mastered. You have self-control. You can say, you know what? I don't have to like confront you, or like somebody at work recently, the universe is like put them there to see, be like, hey Liz, let's see if this person can trigger you into your old patterns, and get you nice and salty again at work. And I caught myself wanting to, and I'm like, no, I'm not even gonna say anything. And I'm like, well, maybe he's testing, you know, his boundaries to see if I'll like put him in his place. Maybe that's like what he respects. So I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to respond. And that doesn't make me a doormat. What would make me a doormat is if I let him ruffle my feathers. You know, it's like, I saw this meme recently, it was so true. It's like, yeah, if you piss somebody off, they'll get mad at you. If you piss off, or they'll hate you, but if you piss off a spiritual person, they'll nothing you. And it's like, that's even colder, because you just have no, like, it just doesn't matter. You're not registering, like, any, like, I don't care. Like, and I still like you, and I still want to be your friend, so whatever. You're just, I feel you. I've been there myself. So it's like that kind of thing. Like, life, when it throws you those moments, you're just like, meh, whatever. It's kind of like in Mean Girls when Regina, what's her face, puts on her tank top and like the boob holes are cut out. She's like, meh, whatever, and she just goes with it. Like, walk through life with your boob holes cut out. That is very, like, going forward as an Aquarius and this new fresh energy to be just really full of ourselves and ready to take life in a new way, take it in stride. And when we have these different perceptions, the whole experience of life changes, even if no major changes happen. You know, it's like, sometimes I can feel like I've lived through 1,000 story plots and timelines in an afternoon, and I'm like, I haven't left the house or talked to anyone. You know what I mean? So it's just like your experience of the world changes when you start perceiving things differently, and things don't like have so much of an effect. And I think that what helps is when we have been cleaning out our subconscious and letting it come forward. We've all been looking at it with that, all that cosmic support behind us through all these like planetary movements and things over the past several weeks. We've been able to kind of sift through these things and be like, oh, that's where that feeling in me comes from, and that's why I always react this way, and that is like actually blocking this thing, and that's how I'm like self-defeating in this way. And so if I just don't do that, like, I could be experiencing a different experience of life, a different experience of myself, of yourself. So I've been having a lot of people kind of like give me updates about what's going on for them. So it's really exciting. You know, not without challenges. Everybody's going through the little gauntlet, but we're all in it together, and we're cheering each other on, and everyone is like kind of facing their dragons one at a time, and it's getting better and better. And I almost feel like spring vibes coming already. It was a nice day today. It was like in the 60s. I went out and ran, and I did my hair like the 60s because it's like, you know, feels like the 60s today. But yeah, I went out and ran like several miles and just like soaked up the sun and the air and like let the wind like blow through me. And I just needed all of the elements like running through me and some fresh air and to be in the sunlight, get some of that D, you know what I'm saying? I've been hard up for that D. Yeah, I don't take vitamins really, so I have to go out and get sun for my vitamin D. Yeah, so yeah, we're seeing life, we're seeing it through big picture. And so the small moments, we're like, okay, these are just passing moments. And really, you know, the flavor of life is all those small moments that add up later. And so no one thing really makes or breaks anything. It's just continuing forward. So as long as you stay in control of yourself and don't freak out, you know, everything will continue to be fine. I was asking somebody the other night, there's this meme that I saw, and I can't find it, and maybe I saved it, I need to dig it out, but it was like, there was a cat, like, standing on a table, like, eating out of a dish, but, like, in front of it, there was, like, this weird, like, almost, like, tripwire that was, like, out in front of the cat eating calmly, and it was, like, the cat was just minding its own business, doing its thing, eating calmly, and then all of a sudden, it just flipped out, spazzed, and, like, throws itself over the wire, gets all tangled up and falls off the table just like for no reason. And so if we can avoid that, I think that we're really headed in a really good direction, and I'm just feeling good. So tonight I want to, for our reading, I want to do a cardinal cross, Celtic cross reading, sorry, with my rough draft of my own oracle deck. I just kind of like started like catching this idea one day that I was like, maybe I should just start writing cards like that's like every answer that I feel like I need to get, and like they'll come to me at random, and so like I'll make a card, and yeah, so it's really filled out into this like big, you know, kind of like stack. There's like 100 cards. Some of them aren't really filled in, some of them are, so it's a work in progress, but I found that it's really very clear, very direct. All right, so first card is our situation. Represents us, our situation. Ooh, time to party. Hey, I'm feeling it. Are you? Okay, what's crossing us? The energy that's crossing us. Oh, wait, I saw that flip. What was it? I saw you. Nope. It'll come back out. What's crossing us? For good or for bad? You need to be more motivated. Oh, see, we've been like a little bit of like a shut-in energy recently. Just because, like, for me, if I'm cold, I'm like, I can't live. And it's been warm out for a few days now, and I didn't even know because I'm still so cold inside. Like, I'm living that cold life, like I'm a bear, just like hibernating. Like, I don't want to do anything when it's cold. So yeah, get that motivation started again. It really felt good to go out and have a run today. Go out and take a long walk. If you live near a park or out in your neighborhood, do a little something to get your blood flowing again, get back in your body. I tell you what, like for me, nothing beats like going and getting some exercise outside and like getting my blood flowing. And I really like a rigorous workout, but not for everyone. I also like to meander and stroll through the forest for, a couple of hours. That's always very, very nurturing for me. Okay, our subconscious motivation. What is the subconscious influence that is affecting us the most right now? Ooh, deep sleep. Sleeping on something. What is it? Our need for rest, a need for deeper sleep, answers in our dreams. Get in a healthy sleep cycle, rest, make your bedroom sacred, new sheets. Your body and soul need healthy sleep, early to bed, early to rise. And I think that will help with the motivation, because when I get on health, like my sleep cycle is really healthy, oh my God, when I live a life where I'm just like drinking enough water and like I'm sleeping like really good and like working out every day, like nothing can stop me. Like, get out of town, like, no, I'm impenetrable. And it's just those simple things. And I think that, for a lot of January, we felt like, like I want to move forward. It was just like, I'm still just so like dead. Like we were still just a pile of ash. But I think now it is time to rise up from the ashes. It really is. It's so funny because sometimes I feel like the cards are so jolting. It's like, rest. No, go. You need to be more motivated. And it's like, but wait, like, wasn't there a transition? And it's like, yeah, we gave you those in-between cards from like every deck for like 4 weeks. You're the in-between now. Time to get to work, princess. I got, bitch, get on with your life. Okay, so the influence from the past that is still, what from the past is still influencing us in the present? And I think that this card can be a lesson that we are still gleaming, like we're still benefiting from the work that we did in that area, or it could be a negative influence where the pain is still haunting us or the negative pattern is still there. So what influence from the past, or what from the past is still influencing us in the present moment? Card. Trusted advice. Someone around you is offering you advice. Take it. It's safe to listen. They have a point. And I had a Jesus card that came out of that Jesus Oracle deck, and it was about blessed are those that can hear the word of God and keep it. And I've read that in a new way. It was like, blessed are those that can get a message of hope and hold on to it. Because 10 minutes later, life is going to crush your spirit again. And, you're going to be tested with uncertainty. And things are not going to look as they seem. It's going to get all shadowy again. And it's going to get scary. And it's going to feel anxious. And you're going to feel the lack of control. Because those rainbows are so fleeting. But hold on to those rainbows. I like to keep, this is a literal advice about that, but I like to keep like a little album, like a picture album. Sometimes on Instagram I'll have one, or like, Pinterest, or just in my photos and in my iPhotos. I'll set aside an album specifically for like omens, signs, synchronicities that I'll pass, things that are just little moments that are like, hey, like everything's working out, kind of like little nice winks from a wink from your angels, messages from the universe, all that stuff. So hold on to those things. Hold on to the hope, the moments that give you hope. It's so easy to feel like it's so much more responsible to allow your cynicism to sober you up and be like, oh, well, I'm not going to get excited because I'm going to protect myself from getting let down. But really, you're not living wholeheartedly, and your heart's shut down at that point because you're not letting yourself get excited. Like, the only way that you can feel like the height of exhilaration is if you allow that you are going to probably also have the capacity to feel the depths of sorrow. And I think once you've been in the depths of sorrow for a certain amount of time and you live through it, you're like, well, it didn't kill me. And actually, once you shake it off, you feel better than ever and even more invincible because you're like Khaleesi, like, I am the unburned, you know? I am the unburned. So yeah, trusted advice. Maybe open up to someone you trust who's insightful, your trusted friend, someone who might have a little bit of insight into the situation, but not have a dog in that fight, have no, motives involved. They can be objective or whatever, and just maybe give you a little guidance. Be open to people's advice, but if it doesn't feel right for you, then don't take it. Like, always take things with a grain of salt. You always have to trust yourself first. And be open to hearing other people out, but don't rely on them to like listen to your intuition for you. If that makes sense. It's a really good, it's a balance of both. We need to like hear people out, and like sometimes they have a message for us, but sometimes it's up to us to just decipher for ourselves. All right, what's crowning us? What has the potential? Actually, I really feel this bottom card. Pay attention to your dreams. Again, something is happening in the dream state right now, and it's no surprise, it's Pisces month. So Pisces are very dreamy. They're connected fully with the astral realms, and because we're in the month of Pisces, we are all sort of supported. We have a little taste of that heightened sense of psychic senses, extra sensory, connecting through the dream world, the astral realms. Even like you might have a visit from a loved one through something that reminds you of them, or they might just whisper something into your heart, or tap you on the shoulder, or make a joke, or like send something your way that you think was funny. But pay attention to your dreams. Write them down if you can, and look them up to see if any of the interpretations that you're reading sound familiar. When you're looking for interpretations, or if you're, say, watching a reading like this or something someone else is doing, it's always good to don't take everything someone's saying if it doesn't feel like you're meshing with it, but pay attention to the parts that are like, oh no, that's the thing. So if you go and look up your dream symbols, and maybe you're not jiving with that particular meaning on that website, don't force that to be the meaning for you. Trust yourself. Like, maybe your subconscious sees the symbol in a different way and it has different associations for you. And just try looking at, another site and seeing what they say and how they compare. But I really like Dream Moods. I think I've recommended it before, but it is, I don't know when it was made. It feels like it's like AOL dial-up, like someone's riding a bicycle to keep the thing like powered by someone riding a bicycle in their yard or like in their basement, like into a battery. Very basic. In fact, you used to have like a search bubble thing that you could like type your symbol into that you're looking for, and now it doesn't. You just have to go through like A to B, like these are the A's, this is, B. Very tedious, but worth it, because I always feel that it's usually more spot on for me. So pay attention to your dreams. Also, I don't know if you guys have ever done any like intentional dream work, but when you can go to sleep and set your intention before bed, you can like work with your soul. I mean, that's what your soul is doing when you go to sleep. When you get into a deep sleep, your soul kind of goes to the upper realms and it cleanses. It goes through sort of like a mini judgment, and you know, kind of like goes and, you know, touches base with the soul handlers, like the Americans, you know, like we're here on a mission, we got to go talk to our handler and get you know, notes for the day and mission notes for tomorrow, and who do we go, what body do we have to go bury this week, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, so our souls go up to the higher realms and we learn and we touch base with our support team and we are cleansed. And so we come back every night when we wake up, and that's what we purge in this, our bodies do. So that's why like you might sweat in the night, or like, you know, we like have gross mouth in the morning and all that. So it's just a natural like purge, body purge. I happen to have night sweats sometimes on that's so gross, on the new moon and the full moon, especially if I double that up with a salt bath. But yeah, so if you start having like really crazy physical symptoms when the moon's full or new, don't worry, you're not like, you're just a werewolf, it's fine. You're just like, you know, contorting and everything. You'll be okay, you'll be fine in a couple of days. But yeah, so pay attention to your dreams. Try astral projecting, you know, see if you can set your intention to go somewhere in your dreams, or visit a loved one that's passed on and touch base, or, you know, connect with a friend who is also going to do it with you. Like be like, okay, we're going to meet up in our dreams. Like, this is the location that we're going to do it. And like, we're going to both go to sleep and we're going to think about it. And oh, so a spell you can do for new moon, I might even drink this tonight. So if you have any dandelion tea, drink it on a new moon, leave a little bit in the cup on your nightstand, and then set your intention for who you want to connect to when you go to sleep. And yeah, it's supposed to help you have psychic dreams, or like meet up with somebody in the astral space. So you can try it. Let me know if it works for you. I'll try it too and see if it works. You don't have to like name any names. You can just give me vague bullet points. Okay, what's ahead of us? What is in our immediate future? Potential to be right around the corner. Like, what do we need to keep our heads up about or be aware of so that we can take advantage of this opportunity, or just know to avoid that kind of challenge or obstacle? What do we need to know? What's coming around the corner? This is tied to shame. Ooh, okay, great. So if you are... So when good things happen and you get something wonderful in your life, it triggers your sense of deservingness, and it is usually tied to shame. And somehow you have been shamed, probably when you were a child. It may have been something mild, like in passing. It may have been something that your parents didn't do. It may have been like something you saw on TV, or you saw somebody else get in trouble for something. You're like, I don't want that to happen to me. Or, you know, it might have been a teacher or a babysitter or some other kid at school, something well-meaning, something innocent. But it doesn't matter, because your subconscious, if it's impressionable in that moment and there's like an extreme emotional reaction to that, it creates some kind of trauma, and it galvanizes this imprint on your subconscious, and you start running like an operating system, like on a computer, and it's like you kind of play that out in patterns. And so you have what is called in Kabbalah, they point out that you might have a conflicting desire that is like blocking you from what you want. And, you know, in manifestation, you know, it's the same. It's like you might have subconscious desire to protect yourself, so you have, because of that, an avoidant attachment style, because you think that's what's going to keep you safe. But it's also just it's just the other side of the codependency spectrum. It's like there's codependents who are like, they push people away, or they're the ones that have to cause the chaos, and then there are codependents that like want to hold on to people, and or they might want to be the peacekeepers. So there's different types of codependency, and I'm just now starting to really learn about it, but it's so enlightening just having like some kind of criteria to like understand, like almost like a scale or a wheel, like, oh, okay, that's on the codependency wheel. That's a measurement. I didn't know what that was. Like, oh, okay, cool. Like it's so freeing. So this is tied to shame. So if you have something that's triggering you, what we need to focus specifically on and hone in is, what do I have shame about? What is it that my shame is trying to hide? What part of that is trying to hide that is keeping me from being seen or successful or in a loving relationship or taking a chance when I don't know if it's all going to work out, kind of thing? Like, what is that shame that you're hiding that you don't want anybody to come in and see? You know, if the shame was something that was like in your house and you had people drop in and come in, what would you be hiding under the chair, the blanket, or whatever, so they wouldn't see it, kind of thing? And so when you figure out what that is, that's what you wanted to start doing some automatic writing about and thinking about, and even just having it, holding it in your awareness and feeling how it makes you feel, and then looking at it from a stronger, more conscious perspective of like how you would like treat someone had they were telling you the story that happened to them. You know, give them the comfort and the reassurance that you didn't know that you were supposed to give yourself. Like, you kind of can reparent yourself in that moment. You can self-soothe, you can mother yourself, and give yourself the support that you need for that past self. And it kind of repairs the subconscious so that you don't have to keep running that operating system. And so then after you start doing this work, you will go into life and you'll be like, oh, a familiar trigger. Ooh, I'll feel the tendency of that old familiar pattern coming up. But because I've been focused on the fact that I know that this is coming, I can catch it this time. And I can be like, ooh, okay, what would my fully integrated, whole, you know, most fully potential radiant self do in the situation? Okay, what's stopping me from doing that then? You know, you can start to live your life with your own higher self being your coach, you know, like your own guru. And that higher self is like totally connected with like the purest form of beingness and love, which is coming through the creator. So what better coach do you have than your fully healed ego, like higher super ego self, you know, the super consciousness. So think about that. But yeah, so a lot of times, you know, we're thinking, okay, I've got to do this shadow work, but what am I supposed to work on? And apparently for this moon cycle in February, at least for the next couple of weeks, things come up. Find out where that shame is and what that shame is and what it's related to and what that shame wants to do. What does that shame want you to do? What is it saying, like, you should do this because that's going to keep you safe? That is the lie, and that is the thing that you have to stop doing. You have to kick shame out of the house, because shame is starting to run the show. And when you get that shame out in the open, it doesn't have any power anymore. It doesn't. Like, shame can only have power in the shadows, when it's hiding, when it's hidden, when nobody sees it. But when you expose it, it doesn't have any hold on you anymore. All right, what part of our own personality is affecting our situation? How is our perception affecting us? What is the perception that's most affecting our lives right now? What aspect of our perception needs more planning? A hidden agenda is creating resistance. Okay, that's what it is. A hidden agenda is creating resistance. And so part of surrendering and letting go is having no agenda anymore. It doesn't mean that you have to not have someone in your life or give up on your dream. It just means that when you interact with people, when you do things for your goal, or if you have a customer, you're trying to serve your customer, like, a hidden agenda is creating resistance would be like, hey, I want to sell you this thing to get my sales up. Don't want to buy, high pressure salesperson, right? But this thing is really awesome. I really want to share it with you. I want everyone to see how awesome this thing is. Your life will be so much better. But yeah, like, let me know if you're interested. I want that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you doing? You know, I've done it at work. It's like, I'll mention, like, you know, a special, and I'll kind of put it out there in a very enticing fashion, but just sort of like throw it off like it's, you know, whatever, you know, ask me more about it if you're interested or whatever. And it's like I sell them to every table. It's crazy. So when you give, and this was, okay, so yesterday's video, we talked about giving without strings attached. And so that's another thing. It's like, when we are, like, all of us are really just at the mercy of, like, how well we can handle our broken, like, shattered ego and, like, terrified inner children at any given moment. It's a wonder that we have avoided more nuclear fallout than we have. Like, it's crazy. So, for the most part, and it's like, especially with dating, the dating games, the flirting games, it's like ego clashing on ego. No wonder we're so miserable and damaged and like having a horrible time. And it's because you're just like nuts and like upset and like being manipulated and like getting like pulled into these like soap opera dramas at all times. And like people are like, oh, I want to go out with this person, but like the way that they are, it just makes me feel like they're trying to like elicit some kind of specific response from me, or like they're trying to manipulate me, and I just don't want to do that. And so I think that it's just be natural, give naturally. If you're making something or creating it, and you're trying to share it with the world, like share, don't push, like, you know, don't have an agenda, don't have a hidden agenda. Be honest with yourself about your agenda. Like look for that, because the agenda and the shame, they're related. Agenda and shame are cousins, and they're coming to the party together every time. They're carpooling, they ride in the car, they're roommates. So just remember that. Shame is the one that plans the agenda. In fact, agenda is shame's briefcase, okay? So just remember that the perception that you have right now that is affecting your situation the most is tied to the fact that you have hidden agendas. So just try to be super authentic and honest and direct and not passive aggressive. Be natural. Don't try to control something by like curating exactly the way that you react and respond in every moment. Just relax. Let go. It'll work out if it works out. Wear it like a loose garment. Like when you need something to happen so bad, it's like, it's probably not gonna happen. Like that's why the best friend always gets the role. It's always that weird, like the friend that came along to the audition that gets the big part, because for them, they're like, whatever, you know, and they're just like killing it. They're like owning the room because they have no dog in the fight. They're like, it doesn't matter to me. Like I'm just here to, you know, have a good time and see what's what, you know? So show up to life like that. Let life come to you and show you what it is for a minute, you know? And don't push. Don't go after stuff like with your grips on it. Just see how it goes. Do not have hidden agendas with people. Even if you're not obvious, they can feel it, and nobody wants to be manipulated. All right, this is the outside influence. This is how others are influencing you right now. You are fretting. So you're fretting over how other people are either responding or reacting, and that's because with Venus having gone retrograde and a lot of other things happening right now, you're probably breaking codependent patterns. And so it's hard to remember not to fret over how other people feel, because that's like, you're not responsible for other people's feelings. That's enmeshment. And you don't know what they're thinking or how they're feeling. So don't be fretting over other people, and don't let other people make you fret, okay? We can't, like, don't assume that there's anything going on. Like a couple of weeks ago, I went into work. I was doing, I've been telling you guys, I've been doing the To Be Magnetic workshops, highly recommended, not an affiliate, but probably should be, because I talk about them all the time now. I'm like, I'm wearing the robe, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm like, I'm moving to the compound, people. I found my tribe. So yeah, so I was doing some of the inner child like workshops. It's like this like super efficient inner child healing. And so I had to go and deal with this thing at the bank, because like for some reason my direct deposit for my job, like the first one went through, but the second one didn't, and nobody at work knew what to do. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bank and figure it out. but I needed to go get like a printout from them to show the bank a bunch of stuff. So I went by the restaurant and everybody's like rushing to open. And I like saw one of my managers, this girl. I was like, hey, what's up? Like, I haven't seen you. It's good to see you. And she was just flustered trying to open the restaurant, but she just was like kind of like cold shoulder. And then like she like walked back to the office with me and was like, hey, do you guys have this paper for Liz? You know, and I'm like, oh, everybody hates me. I'm such a pariah. Like, these are the cool kids in 4th grade that like don't want me to sit with them at lunch, like all over again. And I saw it happening in real time. I was like, oh, look at me. This is like my wounded child. This is like exactly the exercise we went to. It was like, did you feel like you belonged in school? And I was like, no, definitely not. Never, not once. Like, and I was like, this is literally happening because it's like, oh, not only is my security being threatened right now with like my, like this money having slipped through the void of the universe, and like if a direct deposit doesn't go through, like who's responsible for it? Because it like came out on the restaurant end, and like, is the bank supposed to make it up? It was literally like this weird like digital glitch where like my money just disappeared into the void. So, you know, that would like trigger you, right? And I'm like, okay, so this is happening and it's all happening together at the same time. I'm totally triggered. These people at work are like totally getting my like little nerdy inner Liz. And I was like, I'm sure it's fine. It's nothing. But it still did it, you know what I mean? So I was fretting and I was reading into the situation all wrong. And all the time, people tell me that they thought that I said something, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you cleared that up, because either it was the way that I said it or I didn't give enough detail and like the context seemed totally off, or like because of wearing a mask or whatever, they couldn't hear me and what they thought I said was horrible. So I was like, oh my God. Like, and I have resting bitch face, so there's no telling like how horribly offended people are just by me being in this space and interpreting me how they will, and you never know what's going on with people. So if you can at least control one half of that experiment by not taking others personally, you've deactivated a lot of explosive potential right there. All right, hopes and dreams and fears. Love that our dreams and wishes and fears are all in one card. It's like, I guess because the things that we hold dearest are also connected to our deepest fears because of them being taken away or not happening, which I've had to face all of that in my life. I've had my most dearest dreams and dearest loves, dearest friends, and lost it all. So I tell you what, it's such pain, but you become bulletproof because you've lost the things that are so precious, and you can still survive it and feel joy again. So you need a partner. You're telling me, honey. You need a partner. That might be a creative partner. It may be like an accountability buddy. It may be a romantic partner. I mean, I don't think you need a romantic partner. I think that you need to be interdependent and have if the creator is your partner, then you are set up for success right there, because not one person can be your everything. It's impossible. Like, we act like one person is just gonna be like our like soulmate, who's gonna like be our therapist and our counselor, and they're also gonna be like the sexiest, wildest, most adventurous person on earth, and like they're gonna everything's gonna be perfect. And it's like, you're asking somebody to be like, I mean, go through the catalog of all the people that you know. If everybody's best parts came together, do you still have all of those things? No. So we gotta get over we've gotta be excited about love and not cynical, but not living in a fairy tale or overly idealistic. It's like you can be realistic, but still have that, it can be truly awesome, and you can keep it truly awesome, but it does take work. It does take maintenance. And I think that's, we've been talking a lot recently about, there's no magic pill, there's no magic fix. Even magic requires, constant maintenance. Everything is constant maintenance. So, hopes, wishes, fears, you need a partner. A partner will help you take this further. Share the load, get help. People with complementing skills. Incorporating a supportive element. Sometimes we are meant to grow and learn certain life lessons by going it alone for a period or doing something on our own. This is not the case in this situation. Whatever is the issue at the forefront of your life and consciousness, you could benefit from having a partner. Perhaps this is literally a business partner. Maybe it's a friend or an acquaintance with complementing interests, skills, or resources. Maybe it's someone you confide in for accountability. Whatever it is, you will benefit greatly and supercharge your power and efforts with some support. Maybe this partner or support comes in the form of a job or a side hustle. All right, hopes and fears. Partner. Panda. And how's it all gonna pan out? What can we expect? We got a happy ending. Oh, let's bust it up. Let's see. Amuna, absolute certainty, faith, understanding that you already possess everything you desire. Love that. So Amuna is a Hebrew word that means faith, but it is faith beyond faith. It's not faith like a hopeful faith. It's like, it's a done deal. Like, it's already in the bank kind of faith. Like, I don't need to see it. I don't need to worry. I don't need to have any concern. It's a done deal. Like, I can go about my business, not give it a second thought. That is the level of absolute certainty that God has given us the potential to live in. Like, where no matter what is happening, you're just like, everything's fine. Like, I mean, you know, walking through blazing fires and pandemics, and I see it, and I'm doing my best. Like, I've got my vaccine, got my mask, like sanitizing the hands, like helping the children, you know, healing the sick and raising the dead. We're all doing everything we can here. But we're doing it no matter what with absolute certainty. We're not being reactive. We're not being afraid. We're not doing something in reaction to fear. You know, when we react from our fear, we're serving the darkness. And like, we're having more faith in that than like in the faith in like the goodness of God, you know? So crazy how like we just don't see these things. So yes, so Amuna, absolute certainty, faith. Understanding that you already possess everything you desire. Play it like a game. When you go in the grocery store, think of it this way. Think, this is my pantry. Everything here is mine. I have all of this bounty. It is all mine. And all I have to do is drive over here and get it. As soon as I really want it, really need it, it's mine. And just think of it that way. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have everything in the world. And I've seen this happen. I have pulled several $100s out of my ass. It just showed up in the mail because I needed it many times. It's as if you think, okay, well, I have that like Scrooge McDuck vault with like all the gold in it and like all of my wealth. I have all the money in the world. As soon as I need it, I'll just make a withdrawal. The universe will send me a money wire. Live life like that, and that's the life you will live. I manifest like $500 like designer things like all the time because I have no resistance about it. I just like, oh, I like that. That's like my style. And because it's just like authentically like, oh, that's so authentically me. The universe finds a way to just get it to me, and I don't like just for free. It's like someone's hairdresser does like a country music artist's hair. Like, here's her Goodwill bag, Liz. Like, it made it through like 5 people, and like somehow this jacket is still in there, kind of thing. Like, happens all the time. So let's read the back of this card. Amuna. Amuna is the highest form of faith. It is beyond belief. It is absolute certainty. Certainty that transcends rational or logic. Rationale or logic. This level of certainty is perpetual and eternal and ever present like the sun that shines. It's ever present like the sun that shines. Can't read. You know this. Like when I'm doing cards, I'm like, I can't read. This level of certainty is perpetual and eternal and ever present like the sun that shines. It is only we who turn away. We are like the moon with our changing moods and phases, waxing and waning. Oh my God, the moon, new moon. Only ever able to reflect the light of the sun back. But when we rise above our ego, we can transcend the bondage of fear, lack, selfishness, and doubt, and receiving for the self alone, and connect with the eternal presence of the light and know that whether it is a job or a lover or an experience, it doesn't matter what it is. It's always the light showing up in the vessel that you need it to in that moment. Very good. All right. Well, I do want to do one, I'll do the Moonology card first, because I like to do a moon card during the new moon and the full moon. If I remember the half moons and quarters and all that, but I usually don't remember. And then I'll do a Radley Valentine card from Angel Wisdom Tarot. All right, what is our moon card for our new moon in Aquarius? Aquarius. Harmony and understanding, telepathy and just abounding. Do you guys know that song? It's old. All right, new moon, Aquarius. A win-win outcome is in the forecast. Full moon in Libra. Win-win outcome for everyone. I think this card does talk about compromises a little bit, but you know, we did talk about that offering. Go back and watch yesterday's reading, the offering that we are offering up. Win-win outcome. Let's see, what is that? Full moon cards. Okay. Girl. Libra. The full moon in Libra, the sign of partnership. The full moon in Libra, the sign of partnership, of falling in love, and of closely relating to someone else. Since full moons are about climaxes and conclusions, this card suggests you're either about to start a new relationship or that an important existing relationship is changing somehow. Perhaps coming to an end or moving to a new level of commitment. It's important to remember that people come to us for a reason, and sometimes just for a season. If a relationship is ending now, it's doing so at the right time, so try not to fight it. This card can also refer to a professional relationship. There is a sense that you need to balance your ego with someone else's needs. A win-win outcome is possible with give and take. Doing so might be the answer to your question. Let go of that which is falling away. See the other person through the eyes of love, and it will change your perspective. It's time for you to make a firm decision. Time for you to focus on yourself for a while. Look after yourself, but avoid vanity. Now is a great time for a makeover. These were just some little bullet points at the end there. And the teaching, no matter what, when you pull the full moon in Libra card, it encourages you to find a balance between your desires and those of the people around you. Balance is a very Libran energy, and the full moon brings that to a peak. Dramas and upsets bring partnerships to the fore. Libra energy also brings love energy. Negotiations are easier. And I think too, for Libra, we have to learn, I'm Libra rising, we have to learn how to have our own like autonomy and independence and not become too empathic and like too accommodating, because then we start to lose that's how we lose ourselves. Because we don't keep our boundaries, because we're trying to maintain balance and accommodate everybody, because we can be easygoing. We want to keep the relationships all good and harmonious. But sometimes we have to let the boat rock itself a little bit. Let the baby throw the fit in the cereal aisle. Yeah. Libra energy also brings love energy. Negotiations are easier. I can't believe we pulled that, and like we had that whole big discussion about the partners. So funny. I always say like, oh, I can't believe that. Like, oh, Magick is so funny and crazy. It's surprising. It's like it happens every day. So it's always like this. This is the magic of living magically. And we have Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Swords is like super smart, super witty, sharp as a tack, can't sneak anything past her. She's someone who seems like difficult to win over at first, but she's just like not in a hurry to make friends, because people come and go often. So she's like, all right, you can prove yourself to me, and I want to warm up to you. And when I feel like you're going to be here for a minute, then maybe I'll let my guard down a little bit. And, you know, that she can, you know, be a little bit distant that way. But I think that overall she is brilliant and funny and, you know, likes to keep harmony, can be judgmental. It says release situations or people that no longer serve you, seeing the humor in difficult situations, focusing on career, divorced or unmarried individuals. The Queen of Swords is many times a single person, maybe someone who's been through a lot in their life and they've learned a lot from it. And yeah, because of that, they're kind of like untouchable. They're just kind of funny and charismatic, and they have a lot of inner strength, and they have a lot of great advice, and they're really good communicators, and there's a lot of good clarity coming. And I feel that because it's the feminine influence around clarity, I feel that there's just emotional clarity that's going to come forward. Loving energy that can make its way to your thought realm. Maybe even for February, throw that love smoke up in the air, burn some patchouli incense. If you can stand it, it's very strong. I try to like diffuse it sometimes and it gets really strong, but I like frankincense. I love sandalwood. That's a really good sweet smell. Throw up some of those holy smokes that attract love in. Lavender, rose. Yeah, maybe splurge on some nice incenses and get some love in the air and just waft it around. So lots of little spell hints today. Don't forget about your telepathy tea, the dandelion tea tonight. Leave some in the cup by the bedside. Set the intention for the person that you want to connect with or communicate with in the dream world, and maybe you can meet up with them. Don't do anything weird. That's still wrong. Don't be violating people in their sleep like a perv or a weirdo. Consensual astral meetups only. All right. I think that's it. Bonsoir, mon chers. Bonsoir.